All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a pretty powerful idea today, and it might sound a little backwards. What if I told you the secret to finally sticking with good habits has almost nothing to do with motivation or willpower? What if it's all about the room you're in right now? You know the drill, right? You decide you're going to change. You're going to eat better or work out or finally learn that language. And what's the one piece of advice you always get? Just try harder. You need more discipline. But what if that's just not true? What if we've been playing the game all wrong? Seriously, forget motivation for a second. Let's talk about something way more powerful: design. The secret isn't about what's inside your head. It's about the design of the world around you. And today, we're going to figure out how you can become the architect of your own behavior. To really get this, our story starts in a place you would never expect to find the secret to human behavior: a hospital cafeteria. This is where one simple experiment changed everything we thought we knew about making choices. So this is Anne Thorndike. She's a doctor at Massachusetts General Hospital, and she had this amazing idea. She wondered, could I get thousands of hospital staff and visitors to eat healthier without ever saying a word to them, without trying to motivate them at all? Her plan was to just redesign the cafeteria. So what did they do? It was so simple, it's almost funny. They didn't ban soda or anything crazy like that. They just made one tiny tweak. They added bottles of water to all the drink coolers, and they put some extra baskets of water right next to the cash registers. That's it. Soda was still there, it just wasn't the first thing you saw anymore. And check out what happened. The results were absolutely stunning. Over the next 3 months, soda sales dropped by over 11%. Nobody got a lecture. Nobody was told they were making a bad choice. The choice was just redesigned. But this is the part that's truly incredible. In that exact same time, sales of bottled water shot up by almost 26%. People didn't just stop an old habit. They picked up a new, healthier one without even thinking about it, all because of a tiny, invisible nudge from their environment. So what's the magic here? What's going on? Well, it's not magic at all. It's a fundamental core principle of psychology that is quietly shaping pretty much every single decision you make every day. This whole idea has a name. It's called choice architecture. It's just a fancy term for designing your world so that the best choice is also the most obvious and the easiest choice to make. The hospital didn't need a better argument. It just needed a better layout. You know, this isn't a new idea. Back in the day, a psychologist named Kurt Lewin came up with this powerful little equation. It basically says that your behavior is a mix of who you are as a person and the environment you're in. That environment piece is the invisible hand that's always guiding our actions. And the single most powerful force in that environment? Our eyes. We are visual creatures through and through. Did you know that out of the 11 million sensory receptors in our body, nearly half of them are just for vision? It's no wonder then that what's right in front of our faces has this huge pull on what we do next. Okay, so this is where it gets really practical. How do we take this amazing science and actually apply it to our own lives? How can we make our good habits the most obvious choice in the room? Let's look at some absolutely brilliant examples. This one is a classic. Back in the 90s, the Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam had, let's say, a cleanliness issue in the men's restrooms. Their solution? They put a tiny sticker that looked like a fly inside each urinal. And guess what? It gave guys something to aim at, spillage dropped like a rock, and cleaning costs went down by 8%. A tiny visual cue changed behavior instantly. And you see this principle absolutely everywhere. When homeowners in the Netherlands had their energy meters moved from the basement up into the main hallway, they could actually see their energy use. And what happened? Consumption dropped by 30%. You want to eat more fruit? Stop hiding apples in that drawer in your fridge and put them in a big bowl on the kitchen counter. You want to practice guitar more? For crying out loud, get it out of the closet and put it on a stand in the living room. Make the cue for the good habit impossible to miss. Okay, so let's level up for a second with a more advanced strategy. Because over time, it's not just one little thing that becomes a trigger. The entire context, the entire room becomes the trigger for our habits. Think about it. Our brains create these super strong connections with the places we're in. If your couch is where you watch TV, but also where you do your work and also where you eat, your brain is getting all sorts of mixed signals. It doesn't know what it's supposed to do there. But if your desk is only for work, the second you sit down, your brain knows, okay, it's time to focus. That is the power of one space, one use. This is also why it's so much easier to build a brand new habit in a new environment. When you go somewhere new, you're not fighting against years and years of old triggers and old habits. You're basically starting with a blank slate, which lets your brain link that new place only with your new habit. So let's bring all this together. The real point here is a shift in your whole perspective. Instead of trying to force change with brute willpower, we can be smarter, we can be more strategic, we can literally become the architects of our own environment, and by doing that, the architects of our lives. So to recap, here's what you need to remember. Tiny little changes in your world can lead to massive changes in your behavior. Every single habit starts with a trigger or a cue. So your job is to make the cues for your good habits super obvious and visible. And remember, over time, the whole context becomes the cue. And hey, if you're feeling stuck, trying a new environment can be a total game changer. At the end of the day, you don't have to be a passenger just getting pushed around by your surroundings. You have the power to design a world where your best self just sort of shows up naturally. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build?